and welcome to another episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. This is day two of me going live to build my audience. I guess that's the new hack for social media. Well, excuse me, that's the new hack for YouTube, going live and getting people to tune in. All right, so today, probably going to talk about a couple of things, but at the top of the list is what is it like being a man? Like, what does it take to be a man? And when I think about that, words like responsibility, duty, protection, teacher, these are the things that come in mind. And I can illustrate that with a story. This past Thanksgiving, I went home to Savannah, see my parents, see my family, and it was a good time. And I brought my nephew a remote control boat. Like I got it for him a while ago, but I hadn't sent it in the mail. So I used this opportunity to give him a boat. You know, it's easy buying stuff for your nephew because I just buy him the things that I would have thought was cool as a child or as a 11 or 10-year old. So anyway, we get the boat. I give it to him. He's excited. He's happy about it. And after dinner, we take it out to the pond that's by my parents' house. And I tell him, I said, Braxton, don't take the boat too far out from shore because I don't know how long the battery lasts and I don't know what the range is on the remote control. So, all right, cool. He's keeping it close to the shore, zooming around, having a good time. Now, and he's listening, he's doing the right thing. But it comes a point to when he's driving that boat and it gets stuck on like the drainage thing. There's like a big drainage thing. And I guess it lets the water flow from the pond that's on this side of the street to the pond that's on the other side of the street. So it gets stuck on there, and I have to, we're trying to use like a tree branch or something to get it unstuck. Finally, I hold his arm and lean him out there so he can knock it off. Well, he gets it off of there, but now the battery's dead on the boat. So now the boat is just sitting there, drifting further and further out into the pond. And I'm out there with my sister, my nephew, and my fiance. And I'm looking at my sister and my fiance. I know they're not going to go out in that water and get that boat. And I'm looking at my nephew. I know he's going to be disappointed if he loses his boat the first time he gets to play with it. What's up? Thank you for tuning in. So that's part of one of those things about being a man, because I really did not want to get in that water. It was an overcast day. It was wasn't cold, but it wasn't warm either. So finally I had to, take off my shirt, had on, people get Thanksgiving fresh. I took off my shirt, rolled my pants legs up, and I had to wade out there in that water to get my nephew's remote control boat. And I really didn't want to do it, but I went out there and I did it because duty, responsibility. I had to show him a lesson or an example of sometimes being a man means going out and doing something you don't want to do. Like I really don't want to work 60 plus hours a week at this job I'm at right now, but I have responsibilities. I have things that I'm trying to accomplish. So I have to go out there and do it. That's part of being a man. Let's see, read some of these comments. What are we talking about? Okay, shout out to Mason Gonzalez. Thanks for tuning in. We're talking about what it means to be a man and doing things that you don't want to do. And I use the example of my nephew getting his remote control boat stuck out in the pond and me having to go out there and get it. And it's like, it's something else when you have, your lady sitting there watching you. You got your sister sitting there watching you. And your nephew's like, well, here's a problem. Are you going to solve it? And that's what it comes down to. A lot of the times, men, we're supposed to be problem solvers. And that's really a lifelong duty. You really have to prepare yourself for that and steady improve your knowledge and your skill set and the things that you know so you can be a better problem solver. Let's see. Well, this is an odd predicament. Okay. Well, anyway, did y'all know that most Americans read at a sixth grade level? When I say most, I think the average is like half of all Americans only reading at a sixth grade level. And that's one of those things where I know it just benefits the powers that be. They want to get rid of masculinity. They want to feminize the men, from what I've been seeing. Because when you have masculinity seen as toxic, well, the powers that be, they're able to control the population a lot easier. Because at a certain point, a man's going to put his foot down and say, no, I'm not taking this. I'm not with it. And that's what we're supposed to do. But on Ron's Library and Ideas, this channel that you find yourself on now, I want to introduce you guys to new books, things that I think will enhance your mind and give you some new perspectives. Now you can see this library of mine behind me. It's full of books. And just about any one of those things you can pull down and learn something from. For example, let's go with, this is The Nature of Personal Reality, Specific Practical Techniques for Solving Everyday Problems and Enriching the Life You Know. This is by Jane Roberts, but it's actually by an entity that she channels called Seth. Now, that may sound a little odd to you, but this lady can go into a trance, and a higher dimensional being or somebody that exists beyond this physical plane gives her information or speaks through her. Now, one of the signs of intelligence is being able to take an idea and play with that idea in your head without necessarily accepting it. You know, some things you're going to hear and you'll say, that sounds interesting, but nah, I don't agree with that. That doesn't jive with my belief system. And other things you're going to hear and be like, you know what, that feels right. But in either of those scenarios, you should dig a little deeper and keep researching. And that's how you expand your knowledge base. So I've read through most of this. And let me see if I have anything that's underlined that's worth reading. All right, check this out. This is Seth speaking through Jane Roberts. I repeat, your ideas and beliefs form the structure of your experience. Your beliefs and the reasons for them can be found in your conscious mind. If you accept the idea that the reasons for your behavior are forever buried in the past of this life or any other, then you will not be able to alter your experience until you change that belief. I am speaking now of more or less normal experience. Later, we will discuss more particular areas, such as circumstances in which illnesses date from birth. All right, so check the most importantly, this is Seth still speaking. You are responsible for your successes and your joys. You can change those areas of your life with which you are less than pleased, but you must take the responsibility for your being. Now, what did I say earlier about what it means to be a man? Responsibility. And again, you know, I'm speaking to y'all, but I'm speaking to myself as well, reinforcing this thing. It is my responsibility to make the type of life that I want, the type of life that I feel that I deserve. It is my responsibility. And you have Seth saying the same thing. Your spirit joined itself with flesh and in flesh to experience a world of incredible richness, to help create a dimension of reality of colors and of form. Your spirit was born in flesh to enrich a marvelous area of sense awareness, to feel energy made into corporeal form. You are here to use, enjoy, and express yourself through the body. You are here to aid in the great expansion of consciousness. You are not here to cry about the miseries of the human condition, but to change them when you find them not to your liking through the joy, strength, and vitality that is within you to create the spirit as faithfully and beautifully as you can in the flesh. Yo, I'm so glad I found like Seth and Jane Roberts in these books. I came upon them early on in my journey into consciousness. And again, it is your responsibility to make the kind of world that you want to make. You know, we can get bogged down from seeing so much negativity. I don't know, that was the problem I was having when I first started on this road to consciousness. I was seeing all the troubles and the ills of the world, and it got to the point to where I was like, well, what's the point of any of this? Like there was one point in time, if there was a button that I could have pressed that would have blown up the world, I probably would have pressed it and been like, well, this is fair. Now we all can go and find something else better to do or see what happens next. Now I have a much different mentality. I've grown from then. You know, Earth is like the ultimate extreme park. It's like the ultimate amusement park, and what I meant to say. This is an extreme ride. And you come down here and you can experience all these different things. Like I see things that's not to my liking, but I know I have the power to change it. In my last live, you can check on my channel for that. I told you we have the power to think these people out of existence that are doing their best to make us have a limited and bad experience down here. We can change this world into what we want to see just by thinking about that world and dwelling on how that would make you feel. Imagine a world where these systems of oppression are no longer here. How would that make you feel? Would it feel like waking up and really diving into your creativity, really diving into your talent and living that type of life? Go to sleep and think about that tonight. Hold on to that feeling, because every feeling that you have is energy. It's an emotion. It vibrates out into the ethers, and that causes change. And that's why we're seeing so many crazy things happen right now, because more and more people are starting to wake up. You know, social media, it's like Pandora's box. There's a lot that comes with it. You can either use this as a tool for something positive, or you can use it as a tool to distract yourself and to just, fuck off. Let me read some of these comments. Yes, it is an interesting book. All right, yeah, get those push-ups in. I got to do some push-ups tonight myself. And again, duty and responsibility. There's a lot that comes with being a man. Protection is one of those things. You got to have yourself in some kind of shape. You can't be out here, well, you can, it's your choice, but, you make yourself look like a target. You make yourself look soft. You don't want that. So yeah, this is the nature of personal reality. And I think I want to do this more often. Just pick random books that I have off of my shelf and share them with you. And hopefully it sparks something that makes you want to go and read a little bit more. Because, everything that they call a conspiracy theory, let's back up. The term conspiracy theory didn't come into the American public until John F. Kennedy was assassinated and they came out with their report on what they said happened, right? This was like the FBI and whoever else investigating. The American public heard the report and was like, well, this sounds like some BS. And then they said, whoa, don't listen to those crazy conspiracy theories. And ever since then, if there's some information that comes out that they don't want you to believe, what do they call it? A conspiracy theory. Just no. That's just a conspiracy theory. And we've been programmed to believe, okay, if I hear a conspiracy theory, well, it must not be real. But look into it for yourself. Look into it for yourself. You're more brilliant than you realize. Anybody that told you otherwise is telling you a lie. There's a genius inside of you that you just have to bring out. You have to put the right circumstances to make happen. And there's different types of geniuses. It's not just somebody who can do a lot of mathematics in their head very quickly. It's not someone who can just rattle off history. If you watch like a performer like Chris Brown and you see the things that he can do with his body, dancing, performing, that's genius level intellect in that area. You have some people who are so intuitive, who are so good at communicating. That's a genius level of that. You just have to find what your genius level is. Let's see. Why is the world so cruel, though, that we all need to be tough to succeed? Why can't they just be loving and good people? Well, think about it this way. You have free will down here. And based on the circumstances that you find yourself in and how you get programmed from those circumstances, uh, it's the idea of nature versus nurture. You have some people down here who are going to do whatever they can to be on top, but that adds to the all. It's not everyone who's like that. This is a wide variety. Uh, and all of these experiences, all of it, good, bad, and indifferent, all of these add to God. You know, God is the any and everything. You know how in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus was saying, well, the Matrix is all around you, Neo, even in this room as we speak. Well, that's God. God is all around you. We exist inside of God. Everything that happens is part of God. All of this is consciousness. It's in the mind of God. He's dreaming all of this up. And all of these experiences add to it. So if you were any and everything and you had all of eternity to exist, well, why not exist as Ronald Simmons for a while? Why not exist as John for a while and go through and have these experiences? It's only in the, well, I can't say that for sure. In the physical, it's some wild stuff that can happen for sure. But that's part of it. Like I said earlier, this is an amusement park. And this is an extreme ride called being a human. There's all types of things that can happen to you down here. But it is like a choose your own adventure. It's the ultimate RPG, role playing game. What role are you going to play? And everybody gets to pick. So that's why you have cruel people. That's why you have kind people. That's why you have confused people, you know, who think there's something else. It all adds to the whole. But again, it's your responsibility to make the type of world that you want. Let's see. Seth continues in this book. If you're just now tuning in, this is The Nature of Personal Reality, Specific Practical Techniques for Solving Everyday Problems and Enriching the Life You Know, by Jane Roberts. So he continues. Your own conscious beliefs are the most important suggestions that you receive. All other ideas are rejected or accepted according to whether or not you believe they are true, in line with the steady conscious chattering that goes on within your mind most of the day. You will accept a suggestion given by another only if it fits in with your own ideas about the nature of reality in general and your concepts about yourself in particular. So, I am a black man existing in America. That is a very unique experience because there is a lot of programming that is done not just for black men but to the world to control how we view ourselves, black men and black women. They want us to think of ourselves as less than. And if you control how somebody believes in themselves or what they believe about themselves, well, then you're pretty much controlling their destiny. They do their best to show us doing stereotypical things, but they show people doing all types of stereotypical things. But one of the things that I learned that's key is that stereotype is synonymous with ritual. Again, the word stereotype is synonymous with ritual. Every time you see them portraying anything in a stereotypical manner, that is them performing a mass ritual. So they're going to program you to think of yourself as less than. They want you to think that you're not as intelligent, that you can only be these limited amount of things, that people fit inside of these boxes. It's greater than that. You've heard of the concept that uh, life imitates art. Well, life imitates art and art imitates life. They feed into one another. So the young black man who grows up seeing just images of successful black men being basketball players, some type of comedian, some type of entertainer, any type of athlete, or going to jail or being a drug dealer. These are the images that get programmed into your mind. So you think, well, this is all that I can do. And they do that for a very particular reason. Again, as in the Matrix, they told Morpheus told Neo, "Yo, you're the one. Well, let me tell you that you are the one. If reality is only what we tell ourselves it is, there's all types of amazing things we could be doing down here. But we've just been programmed to believe, well, no, humans can only do this. Humans can only live this limited life. Or what if we decided, or what if you decided, well, I can do more than that? That's what I'm on. I'm on some, well, if reality is what my mind tells it, well, I can do anything. I have a vivid imagination. And I know as I convince myself of these things, reality is going to change and I'm going to do some amazing things. So yeah, man, y'all let me know in the comments if you enjoy this book, if you want to hear more from it. Um, hmm, I'm glad that I came across this. There's a whole lot more that I can read from this. Okay, again, this is from chapter 2 of this book. You form the fabric of your experience through your own beliefs and expectations. These personal ideas about yourself and the nature of reality will affect your thoughts and emotions. You take your beliefs about reality as truth and often do not question them. And again, if we're going back to this idea of what it means to be a man, duty, responsibility, um, the masculine aspect of being, how you see things. It is very necessary to have a balanced society. You need that feminine aspect as well. One of the key things that I'm learning as a man is that I came down here to study the female because that's something that's outside of myself. So I get to look at that feminine form, look at woman, and learn something about myself as well. You know, my fiance, she teaches me a lot about myself just through her observations of me, things that she's noticed that I never even thought about. Something else about manhood, I believe, is that willingness to sacrifice, that willingness to change for the better. I know one thing about us, we can be very stubborn. Once we set our minds on something and we accept this idea, okay, well, this is right, this is what I'm going to do, we'll ride that thing out for the longest. But you always got to be willing to say, well, what if I'm wrong? You got to be able to play with that opposite idea. You know, most people, if they do look at the news, they go to the news source that's going to tell them what they want to hear. It's comforting to them. But you should pay attention to what the opposite side is saying. That way you get a better idea of what's really going on. You know, a lot of people were really thinking Kamala Harris was going to win the election because, well, the news is making it like, well, duh, she's going to win. She's a much better candidate than Donald Trump. And it was almost like you were getting bullied into having to believe that. Well, the election happened and it was like, well, what happened? Now, the people who weren't on the Kamala train, they were like, well, duh. Like, we knew Donald Trump was going to win unless they did some kind of cheating. And the people who were on the Kamala side, they were blindsided. They really thought they had it in the bag because of the news sources that they were listening to. And they were only listening to one side of that news source. Part of being an adult as well as being a man is being able to accept some uncomfortable truths. You got to go to that other side to get the full picture. Ladies, you're going to find yourself in a dangerous spot if you're dealing with a man who can only think within his own limited box. He has to be able to go out and seek information and seek knowledge. Fellas, you're putting yourself in danger by not wanting to learn anything new. You gotta be willing to learn. Now, I know they set up the conditions to make it difficult for you to enjoy reading. You know, I think the attention span now is less than that of a goldfish. Like on social media, I say you have like 1.2 seconds to catch people's attention. And if you don't get in that 1.2 something seconds, well, they're scrolling to something else that's going to be more entertaining. You know, I thought it was enough to just be able to sit down and speak to you guys and share my ideas. But I'm seeing, okay, I'm going to have to play this game as well and make this thing entertaining as well. I got to understand what the algorithm says, how to get people to tune in. But it's okay. Adaptability, that's another thing that's a part of being a man, in my opinion. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for tuning in. I think I'm going to keep this pretty short. It's kind of late. Got to wake up early in the morning and get back to making this money. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next episode of Ron's Library and Ideas. And again, this book we spoke about tonight was The Nature of Personal Reality by Jane Roberts. Go and check that out. And hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll see what we talk about tomorrow night and what else I pull out from my library. Y'all be easy. Peace.